Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I post new tutorials every Thursday and I try to get another one in on the weekend if I can. Usually I can't, but I always say that anyway, just to put it out there. So in this video, I am going to be repurposing candle jars. So these are not going to be the ones in this tutorial, but just to give you an idea of what I'm working with here, I'm working with candle jars that have gotten pretty much almost all the way down and ones that I still need to empty. So I'm going to show you how to get the rest of the wax out of these. And I'm going to show you how to repurpose them using Dollar Tree products. So if you're interested to see what I came up with, stick around and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before you get started prepping those glass candle jars, go ahead and preheat your oven to 200 degrees. Now we're going to go ahead and soak these labels in hot water, and they're going to scrape right off. Make sure you soak them for about a good 5 or 10 minutes to get them nice and soft, and then take a scraper. You can use a razor or a blunt style type scraper to get that off. And then once you're done scraping all that off, take acetone to get any remaining glue left over, because sometimes that glue is pretty stubborn on these candle labels. It's amazing. I'm like, geez, like seriously, what do you got to do to get these things off? And the reason why I'm removing these labels is I don't know if they're going to catch fire in the oven, so I don't want to take the chance. So I'm just going to make sure all these labels are off and all the glue is off. And then I'm going to go ahead and dry these glass jars with a paper towel and prep them to put them in the oven. So once those jars are clean, go ahead and place parchment paper over top of a cookie sheet. Place them in the oven upside down so that the wax drips out, as you can see right here. Take your hot mitts and transfer the jars to a clean parchment sheet, and you're going to let the jars dry completely, cool completely for a good long time, at least a half an hour, and you're going to let that wax reset up and solidify. No, not solidify, the other thing, the opposite of solidify. And then once it is nice and hard again, you're going to go ahead and break it up, and you can, save it. You can either throw it away or you can save it for another project. Like if you get enough of it, you can fill up another jar and make another candle with it. So I break it up into pieces and I save that parchment paper for when I want to do this again, because parchment paper is kind of expensive. And I am going to, get any other, even a little bit of residue off of that next parchment piece too, fold that up and save it. And I am going to mark the bag that it is wax, because I do not want anybody munching on this thinking this is some kind of a snack, which that could likely happen in my house. And I'm going to head and clean these jars with hot soapy water. So use a sponge and just go ahead in the inside and get the rim really well, and just get whatever residual wax. It should come off very easily with hot water. If the water's too hot, put some gloves on, but it does need to be pretty warm. And then use the rough side of that sponge, and that's going to go ahead and clean these jars up, and they're going to be ready to repurpose. So I think that was like super easy. I know there's other methods of doing it, but I really liked doing it this way. So, to each their own. And if you want to try this, just make sure that you're using, hand protection, and make sure you are letting your jars cool and your wax set up before you handle them. So this candle jar I am spraying with Rust-Oleum's Frost Spray. So it gives it a frosted coating, and I'm going to do 2 coats of that. Let it dry completely. I purchased this candle holder. It's a pillar style holder. No, it's a taper holder. A taper holder from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to clean that off good with 91% alcohol and spray paint it with matte black. Now I'm going to take that frosted jar, and I am taking vinyl lines that I cut from my Cricut. I'm using Oracal 651s. It is the glitter. Yeah, it's the glitter vinyl. And the reason why I'm using this is because it was extra in another project that I was doing. It was actually the lines in between lines that I cut. And I thought it would be perfect to put on these jars, on this jar in particular, in between. So there's like these lines on this jar. So I put these in between. I'm like, I am tripping over my tongue tonight. Put these in between where it dents out, and I think it just highlights the jar really, really nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and just go in every half inch or so and put them on there. until I've gotten all the way around the jar. And once I am done with that, it's going to be, and everything is nice and dry, I'm going to glue the top to the bottom with E7000. And you know what, guys? I didn't do this, but you should do this. Remove the paint from the top of that taper holder so that it doesn't come off in the future. I'm afraid that mine's going to come off now. So make sure you remove that paint so you get a nice good seal. So that is it for that one. So the next one that I am doing, I am using this wood plank from the Dollar Tree, and you buy them in a pack of 5. I give it a light sanding to make sure there's no rough edges on there. And then I'm also going to use tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree, and they come in a pack of like 72. I'm going to take 2 of them and glue them together. I'm going to use this T-square or L-square, whatever you want to call it, that I also purchased from the Dollar Tree to make sure that they're good and lined up. I'm going to make 5 sets of 2, and I'm going to glue these to the board, and these are going to be basically the feet for that board to sit on. So it's gonna, I'm pretty much making a stand for the next candle jar that I'm going to be working on. So now I'm just going to place glue in the corner, and I'm going to just set each one out, and I'm going to pretty much square it to the corner. I'm going to bring it as close to the corner as I can. And so I'm going to do 1 on each corner, and then I'm going to do 1 in the center for support because I am putting a glass jar on it, and I want to make sure that it's nice and sturdy. While I'm working on this, I just want to let you know that these tumbling tower blocks were hard to get a hold of. It took me months to get them. They sold out, and then it took months for them to get back in stock. So I bought a bunch of them because you can use these in a lot of projects. And She's So Crafty is who inspires me to use these in projects. So I will link her down below. And so I picked this up at the Dollar Tree too, this cute little like lamp thing. It's like adorable. It's like a little light bulb thing. And that fits perfectly over that jar. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that off the bottom because I don't like the gold, so I do want to spray paint it black. I want to de-sticky that tape by putting it on my shirt. It's a good way to do that. And then I decide, no, I don't want it on the bulb itself. I'm going to peel it off. I do this, guys. I think I'm going to do something, then I'm like, oh, wait, let me change it. So then I wrap the paper towel around because I want to protect that bulb from the spray paint. I don't want to get anything on there. And then I go ahead and take that, and I'm going to take that, tape that up, tape, yes, cover it. And I have these little labels, thank you for supporting my small business, that fits perfectly over that top because that's where you put your battery in and that's where your little switch is, so you don't want to spray paint that. Or you can, I guess. I didn't want to. I have another idea in mind. So that is ready to take outside and spray paint along with my bottom piece. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and now it's dry. And I had these wooden dowels that I cut to size, so I used my husband's chop saw to do this. And I am not really great at using the chop saw thingy and measuring, so this is a learning curve for me as well. And but I wanted something around the top, so I cut these to almost exact size, and I'm going to glue these on because I thought it would just look nice to be a little bit more decorative. I'm going to glue these on, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint these with acrylic paint black. You could spray paint it. I just decided that I didn't feel like going back outside, so I'm going to go ahead and coat it with a black acrylic paint because it dries really quickly, which is nice. And once I get all 4 of them down, I'm going to make a measure. That's good. I am going to go ahead and glue that top on to my glass jar. There's no need to lift it because the switch and the battery pack is up top, so you'll never need to take this off for any reason. And switch it. There you go. It works. Yay. Look how cute that is so far. So now I'm going to go ahead and paint those black. And while that's drying, I have a piece of felt. And I'm using that little sticker again, and I'm using that as a guide to cut around this piece of felt. So I want to make a topper, and I want to cover that top. And like I said, I didn't want to spray paint it, and I wanted to add something a little bit decorative. So cut around the top here, and I'm going to take one of these eyeballs, and the felt I picked up at the Dollar Tree as well. And so I have these little eyeballs that I got at Halloween. You buy them in packs of like I don't know, 8 or something. And I'm going to glue that on top of the felt piece, and then I'm going to go ahead and spray paint that. So now that is dry, and I'm going to take a glue dot and just put it on top of that little lamp thingy. And that's what I'm going to use to hold it in place. Now, it's not meant to be permanent. I want to be able to take it off and on. So here are the finished little stands or candle holder, whatever you want to call it. I hope you guys like this. I really like how these turned out. Thank you for She's So Crafty for the inspiration to make things like this for my home that are really pretty. Please make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share, comment. I love to hear your feedback, and I will see you all next time. Bye.